Hey guys, RB here. What a day today. We were not expecting this sort of a sell off, but we were looking at going higher towards 6046 or so before this next leg down happens. But we could barely get to 6006 yesterday and 6000 today, and we saw this sell off. Right. So now, trying to kind of look at objectively on what are our options. Where are we in the wave count, and what can we expect next? Right. For the last week, we have been closing some positions. I took a lot of crypto positions off. We closed what else we could close, and we have few longs still there which are underwater, right? And we kind of need to plan on what do we do next to kind of you know make it work, right? If we are in a correction for a longer term means maybe 6 to 7 weeks. We have to plan per that, or if today was the last day of the sale and we are moving higher, we have to kind of plan for that as well, right? So let's start diving into different scenarios there. So far, our thought process have been that we are looking at this as wave one, two, three, four, and we are looking at a fifth wave up, right? And the couple of things that we have discussed in the past is that whether the wave 4 was over here or is it coming over here, right? Those were like two different options which we were considering, and they still stay as is, right? And we'll talk about it from the levels perspective. And the other option is that the 5 got truncated, right? So that's that. Now, let's talk about the fourth one, the first one we I mentioned first, right? So let's say we are still going into a four, right? This was the case where first I said, okay, we had this leg one down, leg two up, go up to. Initially, we were thinking 6088, then we changed it to 6046, but we couldn't even get there. The retracement was barely, not even 38%, right? But we got this next leg down. Now, as long as this leg does not go all the way here, the wave 4 still stays intact, right? Because wave 4 should not go into the wave 1 territory, right? So that becomes our um main point of invalidation. Though in wave 5 you can have an ending diagonal, expanding diagonal, or whatnot, but we will assume that the top is in, right? We'll assume if this price keep making a new low, then we will assume, or sorry, if price kind of comes into this area, then we'll assume that the top is in, which means the 5 was here, right? After that, we will start evaluating what kind of bounces and how much do we need to correct and all that kind of stuff, right? But first case first, let's stick to what we had before, which was we are still in a wave 4, and we still have wave 5 to come. Now, within this, there are a few scenarios, right? One which I posted today in the market commentary, which was that what if this is not even a 4? What if this is a wave 1 and 2? Right? And then we start moving up. We'll get to know about that tomorrow. But if the sell-off continues any further, then of course it's not wave two, right? If it starts bouncing and this whole leg gets inversed from here, then we can talk about, okay, being in a wave three and all that, and that conversation will come back up. We have PC in the morning tomorrow, so we'll have to kind of look at what kind of action do we get with that, right? But let's say one and two may not be the case, and we are still in the wave four scenario, which means this particular level is a critical level. If this is a critical level, then what we are looking at, and before I go further, the other critical level is this one right here, where we still do not go into the wave one, and it can still be a wave four, right? So which means that this was coming in as an impulse C wave with 1, 2. Probably complete the 3 in the morning with the dip, bounce a little bit, and then do 5 later on, maybe by Monday or maybe Friday, right? So we'll have these 5 waves down, right? Now, these 5 waves, which I've explained before, uh, can happen in two cases. One, if this is a flat correction, which happens like A, B goes all towards the highs, and then the C comes in back as an impulse wave, as liquidating all these choppy moves, and then kind of grabbing the stop loss for everybody and moving back up right here, right? That's the one case where where this wave 4 can still work out, right? So something to be seen tomorrow, and that's why I was not keen in any taking any actions today, either adding into longs or going short and all that, because most of the move is kind of complete, right? So we were trying to capture all these bounces in here, but then it kind of sold on us, and now it is way too oversold. The put premiums are too high, and there is not much value left in there. Let it come down here. Let's say this is a wave for an example, and want to see the formation of this one, right? Does it come and stop here? Does it keep coming down and these gets a little bit stretched as well, and it completely comes down here and enter into the wave one, right? So in that case, this wave 4 idea will change, and that's where I want to kind of see the whole formation of this wave for now, right? So once that is in, so let's say for example that it kind of truncates without going into the wave 1, so I'll have my wave 5 down. As I see these 5 waves completing, there is an opportunity for long, whether it sweeps the liquidity below this point or below this point, right? We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. And certainly, I think the 5 waves will complete here, if not here, even if it's invalidating this wave 4. We are coming down then into this 5661, completing 5 waves, and then there will be a bounce again, right? So I would expect that the bounce goes back into the supply that was created here, which is again 6,597 number, which would be your probably somewhere into that 61% category. 5960, 61%, right? So this is where I would plan to go long if this happens. If it starts bouncing tomorrow or it is as low as this one, we'll see about that, right? So if it's a smaller cell, which I explained before, then we are looking at again, dumping here, bouncing, maybe another dump a little bit, and then reversal. This reversal structure is the important part, right? So if you want a confirmation before going long and saying, hey, we don't want to catch the knife, okay, may probably stop here or stop there. What you want to see is that all your 5 waves complete, and there is a change in delivery with the change of character here, and you make a higher high, and this higher low holds. The same applies to when it comes here, right? If it goes deeper below, you want to do this as well, whether it's an A, B, C bounce or whatever, but you do want to see a change in the delivery before you want to go along, right? So that's where the confirmation comes. But I think this area below is a great spot regardless, and I would certainly try to jump into this one. I don't expect this to keep selling. It's not a crash scenario that we're looking at, so certainly makes sense for me to kind of double down here. And my longs were somewhere around at 59.60 level. So doubling down here would actually would be a good idea for me to kind of exit them again back at 59.60, right? So that would be my plan. But now think about the two different things here, right? One is if the sell is all the way getting into 56.61 in next couple of days by Monday or so, then the top is in, right? So this is not a wave four anymore. The top is in, and we'll start talking about this as a truncated five. It didn't go all the way up, but it is what it is. It got truncated, and now we had like another 5 waves down, which means after a retracement, we are looking at a big another wave down later on, right? And our target will be somewhere around 54.43, right? So this could be a very big ABC and a similar, correction as this one. So now this was in the WXYXZ, like a complex correction. This is again wave 4. It could be anything. It could be a complex correction, could be a flat correction. But if we get 5 waves first, as confirmed 5 waves, 5 waves happen only in zigzags, right? So if this is a zigzag, then we will see 5 waves down, 3 waves up, and 5 waves down, right? So at least let's see what we get in the first one, and then bounce back, close longs, and then go short again, right? And this is a larger wave 4 correction, and that's if this 4 was completed here, fifth was truncated here, right? So next 1 or 2 days are important to see what kind of pattern we form. There is no need for panic. I mean, we are not kind of crashing, and I've been avoiding doing options on indexes just because of the IV is so high, and it's been chopping. So I've been long with SPXL, and that's where I want to add. And if I get this deep down move, makes sense to buy back or buy some, and then kind of exit the longs here. And then this is gonna take some time, right? This bounce back is gonna take maybe a few days, maybe 3, 4, 5 days or something like that. Bounces are pretty sharp after the first impulse, right? So that's that, and after that, this can take another week or so, or maybe more. So in total, probably could take 3 to 4 weeks at least, even if these are two impulses. If this turns into something more complex, could be 6 to 7 weeks as well, right? So if we look into this particular correction, this started from end of July and lasted till end of October, so like 3 months, right? And it kind of came in first, then bounced, then another impulse, then bounced, then another impulse, or a combination of impulses, right? Could be a triple zigzag here as well, right? And so depends. I mean, how much time it's gonna take. We'll see. We'll get to know from at least from the first full formation here. We'll let that form, and let's see where the bounce is really coming from, where the bull step and the key levels. Again, as one was today's gap close, as explained, we'll see if in the morning the trend changes and we start reversing back up. If not, then we are certainly testing, 5782, likely testing 5700 if this breaks, right? Of course, if this breaks, then we have 5700 on the cards as well. And that's where between 5700 and 5663 is where we will start to look into the longs, and I'll continue to update as I see this formation completing, and where to go long. Now this was the SPX. Let's look into QQQ as well, right? And this was my another idea there when I was talking in the commentary, that it looked like that we were doing the fifth wave down today, right? Until the sell really picked up in the later part, or in the last hour or last couple of hours. It looked like that, we were doing just 5 waves down here. It could still be 5 waves down. Like I was saying, we have, tomorrow PCE. If this starts pumping up and we get a leg up like this, the whole conversation will turn into bullish again, because again, if this was 5 waves, this is A, B, and C. That's done. We are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Again, a change of structure. Make a high above this, have a higher low, and then start moving up, right? So that conversation can change. Or we are doing impulse wave down, which means the top was in here when we made the new high, and we are looking at this as 1, 2. This probably goes a little lower, 3, 4, and 5, something like this. and looking at the larger levels, if this is impulse selling, which is gonna bring us down to somewhere into this area. This is a great area, but we haven't seen any bounce yet. Again, let's see if that happens tomorrow. But if that's not happening, then we are looking at coming down all the way into 484, right? 484, again, the same thing. We get these five waves down. We are looking for a bounce somewhere from here into 514, and then another dip again. We'll be looking at somewhere coming back to this particular area, right? This would be again my wave for expectations overall, just going into the larger degree. Um, and yeah, so around this area will be my wave for before we can do another another leg up towards the wave 5, right? So that's the kind of thoughts that I have right now on QQQ and SPX. Another thing which I was looking at in DI and why I was thinking that today's sell could be the end of the sell was Dow, because you would recall that I've been talking about Dow to come to the 433 level, and then when we were looking at the counts, I said okay, probably 61% retracement can happen here at Dow, testing about 430, right? This level, and still looks like we had this A drop, B up, and then we are doing like a five waves down, and this is a great support here, right here into 430, right? And if this is the case, and we see a bounce tomorrow and a change in structure again, like I said, the conversation will change immediately with that bounce, right? This happens and we start getting to make a higher low, then we are going up again, right? Other than that, if this is something else, then we'll see how DIA reacts. Uh, and then probably what we are looking at is that this is gonna stretch. This probably the one, two, and now the third, maybe doing like a one, two, three, four, and this fifth one will really push deeper, somewhere into closing this gap, 424, right? And then bounce, then coming back to this demand, and then bounce again, right? And then after that, the next wave down, something like that. So in that case, this will be my wave four again. Let's put into the weekly chart. Here we are. This was 3 4, and this is fourth wave. So this will be my fourth. Fifth got truncated somewhere here, and yeah, 3 4, and then after that there will be a fifth wave on the upside, right? So 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 3 4 and 5, right? So that's the idea, kind of what we are dealing with, and with this, IWM will also land into 204 or maybe lower, right? So with IWM, what we are looking at was that we had this 1 2, and somewhere here became much choppier, but this was 3 and 4, and then we had this fifth wave up, right? After this fifth wave up, we were doing an A, a B, and a C, right? So a sell-off happens, and this will complete a C wave, right? So which means my wave 2 will be over here, and it's very possible that while the large indexes does their wave 4 correction over the period of time, we may start seeing much better rallies in the small caps, which is why, because if the C is finishing here, after that we are building up for a new high. This is my cup, this my handle is being built, and post that we'll start seeing the rally. Is that possible? We'll get to see in a few days, but something to kind of think about, or have an eye on, right? So also possible that this finishes the C and the indexes finishes the 4, right? So like the small 4 that we are looking at, not a larger 4, larger 4 where it comes to all the way to 5400. We are looking at like this 4 being completed here, and 5 going up. But that does not give a much length to indexes like SPX. If you compare this with the IWM, we are talking about altogether starting a new rally after a long consolidation, because they never actually made new highs, or they made a small new highs here, but they did never rallied after 2021, right? So, is that possibility? We'll see about that, but let it come down to this support here around 195, 197 level, and from there, let's start evaluating. I mean, if this starts coming down all the way, let's say, this doesn't hold, and we have a larger correction, the bigger wave 4, where we go back to 5400, 5300 on SPX, then this is not going to even hold the 196. Then what we are looking at is a deep down wave here, potentially again another flat correction, right? So you had an A drop, B up, and now you're looking at C wave drop, right? So which means this will keep selling, and we will reach 162 to just complete this as a whole flat correction. Once this flat is complete, then we can talk about moving from up from there. But yeah, so this is gonna be a big correction across the indexes if that happens, right? So many ways. I mean, corrections are always complex. They're not as easy as when you're in a trending wave where you are forming each basis. There are like demands being built up, and then you're just buying the dip into those demands, right? Now things are really complex, and if we are going into the larger wave for have these expectations set that there is going to be a choppiness in most days. There'll be rallies which will be sold off, breakouts and breakdowns both can fail, right? So when we are in the sideways corrective moves, the best thing is, since the VIX is also very elevated and in these stages, the best thing is to just scale down, look into more defensive positions, go with ETFs rather than options, and try to look into extreme sides where you have a value to buy in and hold, right? Because otherwise, you may get caught up in chasing a lot of these moves, as it happened today. Today was like there was a sell in the morning, then a strong bounce that did not hold, then a sell, then a bounce, and later at the end it finally sold. Right? There were so many whiplashes in the day. It was becoming very hard to track what the heck even we are doing, and then finally it sold off at the end in the last hour or so. Right, so be cautious. Let's see what happens in the next 1 2 days. It's time to sit back and just let it do what it's doing. Maybe if you get the extreme levels like I explained, then take a trade, take safer trades, and save on the capital, save on the mental capital as well. And don't try to call the bottoms and call the tops. Let this play out a little bit. It's been a hard couple of weeks since the Trump election. We have been in a small range, and last 3 4 weeks have been even narrower, and now the ranges are expanding on the downside. So things are a little complicated at this point of time, which will resolve for sure. Just gonna take its time, right? So let's see what happens, and then we will kind of work out plan and see where we are going with this. Thank you very much. Hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon again.